Welcome, everyone. And this is officially the last call-in that's actually in season before we transition into the Euro/off season. So we're gonna touch Monza up a little bit. We'll talk about some other stuff. I'll touch up on some discussion points about Chiesa that I made at the halftime show today as well. We'll cover a little bit of Formula One because the qualifying did go, and shockingly, Max did not do well. You could say that he hit a wall, quite literally. And here to join me is one of the Daves, but he's German. So, German Dave, how are you?
I'm happy to see you all again after you saw my face already for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, doing double duty. But I think we'll kind of get in with some of the opening stuff here. Obviously, no confirmation yet whether or not Motta has signed. All the tables are pointing to him being signed, as well as DiGiorno's Pizza, or Di Gregino, the goalkeeper from Monza, who did not play today either. Looks like Juve and them agreed in a principal agreement, 18+2.
Dash, and did you notice? No Bremer today.
Oh, Bremer. It was Rugani, Danilo, and Sandro.
Yep, and Giallo played. Bremer didn't see him in it. So, is there something in the works?
I guess he's going to Man United, unfortunately. But let's go into it. Well, and then unfortunately, Next Gen tied with Carese again, and because of some stupid rule in Serie C where it goes off of ranking for tiebreaker, no away goals or anything like that, Carese move on to the next round. So Next Gen's adventure ends today, unfortunately.
It's crazy that they don't at least send them to penalties or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was one of those things where, like, was there some of the young players that we played today against Monza, was it worth it? Like, for example, wouldn't it have been a little bit more beneficial to send Illing down there?
I don't know if we needed, for example, Illing there, like goalie. I think it's good having him in the squad who gets first 10 minutes, but I don't know if we needed, for example, Illing in the game today.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like he was doing okay. He kept the left side pretty clean, but I don't know. Like, this was a throwaway game basically. I don't know if he was actually needed.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you talked with Misak about the stats, and you kind of guys went over your thoughts. My thoughts were I didn't really see anything too crazy this match, anything to lose my mind over. Both
Do you
goals
want
have
to talk something even crazier before you go into the analytics, or should we keep this as a main event?
Go ahead.
McKennie and Chiara Fratesi stories.
Any what?
Yeah, McKennie and Chiara Fratesi broke up.
Already?
Already.
That's why I didn't play it.
I mean, Misak broke the news to me during the screen, and man, she won the 2 titles for the family and dipped.
Hey, that might mean that McKennie's on his way out.
That's what we thought as well. I don't know if we gave it too much meaning, but what if he's leaving Italy?
That might be it.
And she doesn't want to move to the bad English weather.
Yeah, I think that might be it. It's got to be it. That's the only logical answer for that one. There's no way else outside of it.
I'm sorry, Chiara, but there's a wonderful offer from Chelsea. I gotta go there. You want to move to London? Oh no, I stay here in Milan. All right, see you later, alligator.
McKennie's like, but I thought you loved me for me. No, I just loved you for your dog. Speaking of dogs, looking at the stats here again. I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing this, but why not? Screw it. Monza 58% ball possession. You have a 42% ball possession. So again, another game where we didn't lead the possession statistic. 0.98 to their 0.65 in expected goals. Again, not creating a ridiculous amount of chances as per usual. 12 shots to their 12 shots. 3 big chances to their 1. Again, 2 big chances missed on our end. They missed 1 big chance, 323 passes to the 451. Fouls committed. They beat us on that one. Corners as well. I think the main thing that I kind of want to talk about this game is a couple of things. One, I hope they send Charlie to Southampton and we never see him again because in a meaningless game he was still
Yep.
terrible.
Yep. Please.
Like
Please.
the
Like
fact,
he seems like a very nice guy. He has a very, calming and childish voice, but man, he's not made for Syria. Send him back to the league where he doesn't need to concentrate on where to put the ball.
yeah, I just like, and part of it is like I think Fajoli kind of masked up for a lot of his deficiencies, a lot of Charlie's
Oh,
deficiencies,
absolutely.
but like Charlie was just god awful. Like it was just atrociously poor. I just the fact that we paid 4 million just to loan him still kind of boggles my mind.
Yep. Hey,
Like
we
like
had give me your honest opinion, yeah? We saw Jalo for how many minutes? 10 minutes, something like that? When did they sub him in? I think
Jallo
around the 80th
74,
minute.
74th.
74, so he saw 16 minutes with that time. Yeah, give it 20 minutes. In those 20 minutes, Jalo, who was cheaper than Charlie, who was a loanee, Jalo showed me more in those few minutes he had. How he controlled the ball, how he passed the ball, how he defended, how he blocked shots. Like, granted, he had one aerial duel where he nearly costed us a goal, but Misak pointed out like that guy Duric or whatever his name was is one of the best in Syria and aerial duels. He was 90% something aerial duels, so I don't put that as much on Jalo, but his performance overall, like in so short minutes, was already better than what Charlie has shown me in 5 months now.
Yeah, Jallo looked a lot better than I thought he would, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. And it kind of makes you wonder, how Motta's going to utilize him, if he's going to utilize him. But Jallo looked decent. No
Yep.
complaints there. I think Milik got the start because it's more than likely his last game for Juve, so I think that's why Milik started that game. Same thing for Chiesa too. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be hilarious. 3-4-3 tactically wise, formation wise. I'd like to, even though I know what the end result would be, and it was just kind of interesting, everyone kind of foaming at the mouth for the trident, and look, see, Yildiz and Chiesa can play together, and it's just like they can't play together when they're the only two up top. They can play together in a trident, but it's just I just find it, the one thing that I find as a takeaway from this that I find ironic is that people will sit here and use a game where both teams were locked into position. It didn't matter who won or who lost.
Yep.
And they're telling me that, oh my gosh, look at this. This is totally night and day. It's like, dude, today was like fan night at the Alliance.
It's just like a family game. It's like a friendly. It's nothing more. It's
It's
nothing
like
more.
no one in their right mind would start Sandro, Rugani, and Danilo together.
Yeah.
Nobody in their right
Not if
mind.
you want to win the actual game.
And it's like, yeah, like again, you don't start a pivot of Charlie and Fajoli. You start a pivot of Locatelli and Fajoli, or Rabiot and Fajoli, and then like same thing with Illing and Weah. Like Cambiaso didn't even see the field this game. Like it's
Cambiaso was on a yellow ban or something like that, I
was
believe.
he? Was he suspended? I didn't think he
Was he
was.
There was one suspension. I thought it was him.
Oh no, it is him. Because I saw Pogba and then
Oh,
I didn't scroll down. But McKennie didn't see minutes. Kostic didn't see minutes. Gatti,
Bremer
Bremer
didn't see him
again.
in it.
Like the only thing that would have completed the trifecta of meaninglessness is if DeCilio started. that would have completed it. But
I thought honestly that he would get minutes, like he will sub him in for where or whatever. It's crazy to me that Charlie played 90 minutes. I can't believe it. With what he has shown, 90 minutes. Oh my god.
I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest with you. But because, like, for example, I know the argument is like, okay, great, 3 goals against Bologna, 2 goals against Monza. Look at this, right? And it's just like you were down 3-0 to Bologna at halftime, roughly around halftime.
Yeah.
Bologna took their foot off the gas and started subbing players off. Like
And
that's
it's in, like we said, in 2 games that didn't mean anything.
yeah. The difference, like, for example, when you look at the Champions League earnings, Inter won the league and we're still getting the same amount as they are, 53 million. The only team that's making more than us is Roma because Roma had consecutive finals with the Conference League win and then the Europa League win. So Roma's at 55 mil for qualifying for Champions League. We're at 53. Bologna is at
Do
23.
you mean they have the money for Huijsen now?
They have the money for Huijsen now. They will buy Huijsen. No. So the moment we qualified last week, that was it. 53 million. Didn't
Yep.
matter if it was third, fourth, or fifth. That's what
Yep.
you're getting.
Yep.
So again, not really much to go off of, and I kind of want people to temper their expectations because also Thiago is not going to be playing with a 3-4-3 or a 3-8-2
Oh, no.
that Montero did against Bologna.
Yep.
I don't even know what the hell that was. You're not going to see that. I think the one thing to really start having expectations when you start looking at certain things is when you start seeing how the team is starting to get built. The first thing is the goalkeeper that they signed allegedly is signed, but he is Motta's first signing. Apparently, has been consulted by Motta, which
Yep.
I never understand that sentiment, right? Because, like, for example, Motta's at Bologna and is Giuntoli calling him saying, "Hey, DiGiorno's is coming, the pizza's coming," and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll sign off on that transfer." It's just like that's the one thing I've never understood when journalists will sit here and say, like, "Oh, Motta's given the green light for this." Motta doesn't even work for you yet.
No, I think, man, I don't know. Maybe it's Giuntoli leaked again to the press that, yeah, man, hey, I shot him a short message. Hey, do you need a new goalkeeper? Because this one's a bargain. And he said, yeah, hey, why not? I can use a goalkeeper that can us. Why not? And that's the maybe that media is talking about.
I don't know. That, to me, I've always found that really weird, especially if the coach isn't like working for you yet.
Yep.
It's just like, oh yeah, green light by this guy. And then again, Calafiori, we haven't heard anything on him yet, but those are just names swirling. He still wants Rabiot. They still want to do something and figure out a solution with Rabiot. They want to figure out a solution for Locatelli. So those are, I think, the ones that are going to stay. I think the players that I would say on the fringe or on the bubble right now that makes things interesting, and I'm gonna throw in the link here for folks to join in. It's going to be like, for example, I think a bubble player or a fringe player is going to be Sule. I think another one's going to be Bernachea. I think Moretti is not on the fringe. I think Moretti is more than likely looking out. I think same thing with Illing too. I think Illing is looking outside. The mainstays, I would say, are going to be Yildiz is number 1. Allegedly, Chiesa is going to be number 2 now, as far as that's staying for sure. Fagioli, Locatelli. I would say maybe Danilo.
The quest, I think the Danilo more likely than not. I am still with the opinion that Danilo's an Allegri guy and that what he showed towards Allegri, that he's on the side. I think that he could be gone, and also the problem that just his lack of speed and I don't know. You can use him in a form in defense as the center back next to Calafiori or Bremer or whoever, and as a fullback he's too slow. In my opinion, that's a problem. And one, like, he's great in 1v1 duels, but if a player like comes with him at speed, like a Lea, for example, or players like that, I'm scared, honestly, if with Danilo as a fullback.
Yeah, and he's done well, right? I mean, if he leaves, he leaves. There's nothing you can do with it, right? There's it's unfortunate, but I kind of
defense kind of protected him a little bit so that he's not on an island that often.
Yeah, and it really begs the question because, like, for example, we're trying to sign good players, or we're trying to, because that's all I've been seeing right now on X is just like, oh, he's gone, he's in, this guy's leaving, this guy might leave. We just signed Sirias. So let's talk about the bests, right? Like the MVPs of the position. So are those fan votes, or are they basing this
No,
off of statistics?
I was asking the same questions. I have no idea. Is this like a fan vote where you basically vote for your all-star, and we know those numbers always who's the most popular? Is it that, or is it journalists that are voting on it, like on an all NBA team or all NFL all pro team? Like I don't like what is the voting mechanism?
Because the reason why I'm saying this is because, like, for
Uh,
example, Jan Sommer didn't win, and I think Jan Sommer's been the best goalkeeper in Serie A. You can
and
say what you
I
want about De
got them.
Gregorio, but like,
Yeah.
I think Jan Sommer has had a better season,
Yep.
objectively. Same thing with Lautaro. I think Lautaro has been better than Dusan this season, but Dusan won it.
100%. 100%. That's why I don't understand. And where does this Juve agenda come from all of a sudden?
That one shocked me the most, to be honest with you, that he won that. And I don't mean that in like
Yep.
a dissing sense, but I was shocked that Dusan won
Yep.
MVP
No,
for
on a consistent basis, he didn't deserve it in my opinion.
because it was Lautaro, him, and then who else? There's another one. I forgot who it was. But the fact that he won that over Lautaro just kind of surprised me. I guess maybe the folks know that Inter's down in the dump and they don't want to promote Inter, so they want to start going back to flagshipping Juve for some reason. But
Yep.
I was just, that to me boggled my mind how like he won that, and then like same thing with, yeah, I'm not knocking on D Gregorio, but like Summer didn't win that, which I thought was just really
Yep.
really awkward to me.
Yep. Do you know what was the most awkward for me in that whole situation? Like I'm surprised that Vlahovic got it anyway, but have you seen who gave him the trophy?
Oh,
What the hell is he doing there? Like not the
I don't know.
captain, like not. This is
Yeah,
so
I don't
weird,
know.
man. Honestly, on
This the
I don't think
the whole
I ever
MVP
saw
thing.
something like this.
Because, like, for example, Alessandro Bastoni won the center back of the like MVP for center backs, which, in my opinion, that should have been Bremer.
Oh yeah, Bremer hands down was the best defender with how he just destroyed every single like attacker on 1v1. He literally had everybody in his pockets.
Like, I don't. So if we look at team of the season, you have Martinez, Hernandez, Giroud, Bastoni, Dybala, Leao, Sommer, Pulisic, Chanaloglu, Ferguson, DeMarco, Pellegrini, Bremer, Vlahovic, Calafiori, Osimhen, Barella, Berardi, Crava, Rabiot made team of the season. Benacer,
what?
Di Lorenzo, and Smalling. I'm not really sure what Rabiot made team of the season for, but
I have no idea.
I don't know. That's just weird. Okay, so Lautaro won MVP overall, so maybe that's why Dusan got
So
best
it's a
striker.
case of for example, if Jokic wins the MVP award, or let's say Anthony Edwards wins the MVP award next season, then it's proved instead of it's something like that maybe.
Yeah,
So
and
he
then they
gets the
gave
bigger award, and they give the other one to somebody else, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like for example, Xerxes got the under 23 MVP.
Yep. Got you. Yeah, then I understand it kind of, but it would be great if they explained the voting mechanism and how the decisions were made. But all right.
Yeah, it's just for me. I was never sure on how that worked because, like, for me, I'm trying to see if I can find the short list here of the strikers because had to be something else like they nominated because I don't know. Like for me, it was just okay. Best striker, it was Dybala, Leao, and Dusan.
Okay.
That was the competition.
Yeah, with those, it's okay
So
that it's Vlahovic, but okay, then they took Lautaro out basically out of that one because of the overall MVP.
but Leao and Dybala aren't strikers though.
Yeah, but I think it's also like when you vote for your all stars and sometimes they put the shooting guard into the small forward category or vice versa. I think they just made it a forward category or something like that. Or do they have a specific winger category in addition to the best striker?
I'll do you one better. I'll share it for you so we can go over it live because that to me was just very very weird. Okay, so first one, it says best goalkeeper, and then it's Tech, De Gorginho, and then I believe
Dude,
that's
it's a crime that Sommer's not even the conversation.
Yeah, he's not shortlisted. And then you look at best
Crazy.
defender, you have Calafiori, Bremer, and Bastoni. How Bastoni wins this, I don't know.
I agree. I agree on the candidates, but I don't know how Bremer didn't win this, honestly.
And then midfielder, again, why is Pulisic a midfielder? So you have Koopmeiners and Chanaloglu, that makes sense. But you have Pulisic here?
That's weird, man.
And then you go up to striker, you have Dybala, you have Leao, and you have Dusan, which, again, neither of these two are actual strikers.
I have no idea what. Okay. Now this has become really weird. This.
And then they don't even have the MVP race. So Serie A, like, there's no, I don't.
That was very weird, man.
Because they dropped this on May, and then the under 23s, you have Sule, Xerxes, and then I think that's born Bellanova.
Bellanova, yeah.
Yep. Because it's like it does. I don't know. Like, is it just journalists voting? I don't know if it's people voting, but
I have no idea, honestly.
Because like the only it's a very weird shortlist because like the only ones that you can actually compare are going to be the keepers, and even then, I still think Sommer should have been in there instead of Carnasecchi. I think there's a little bit of Italian bias.
Yep.
And then, like for example, I really don't think that Bastoni should have been in that shortlist. I don't think so.
Yeah, the thing is that we know that there's a bit of an interbias. The problem is I don't see that there's 100% a different player you could nominate instead of him. Like, I don't know if there's a definitive answer that could have beaten their bias. Like, I don't know who would be a name that would be equally as good as Bastoni.
And then, like for example, Chanaloglu and Coop. Obviously, I think, like, to be fair, I think Chanaloglu compared to these two is better as far as like as the best center midfielder.
Yep.
Like that to me, I've got no issue, right? There's no issue for that. But then it's like you look at
with how he dictates the whole game. Like, he has his defensive style on point. He has the offensive game on point, like his passing, how he controls speed and timing and everything. He's overall better than Koopmeiners, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, like for example, I don't know why Pulisic is here.
I have no idea.
He's always been a wide player. I don't understand why he's It even says central campista. Like he's never like that's not how he plays.
Yep.
And then same thing, like for example, compared Dybala to Leao, Dusan had a better season than both of them, but both of the other two aren't strikers.
Yep.
Like
I have no idea.
like because, like, for example, of course Dusan deserved it because there's no one here that's good enough.
Yep.
Because it's like Leao's a left winger. Dybala's a pseudo winger / second striker. And then it's like, Dybala, like, at least put Lukaku in. Like, Lukaku got double digits if you're going to do that.
And he has an actual striker.
And he's an actual striker. Dybala's not a striker. Because if I were to pull, so let's go to Serie A here. So we'll try to make some rationale here because I'm confused as all hell. So let's look at the stats here. So if we look at top scorers, see all. So Lautaro was in the MVP competition, so he's out, right? Yep. So you have Dusan, you have Osimhen, you have Giroud. Hell, you could have made a short list of Osimhen, Dusan, and Giroud.
Absolutely. I don't. Yeah, to take Leao out and put Giroud in.
You have all of these guys here, but then you go all the way down here. You have Dybala with 13, and then I don't even think Leao is up here because it's like it would have been a more competitive list if it was Dusan, Osimhen, Giroud.
Yep. If you
that would have
only actual strikers, I agree.
If you wanted to be inter-biased, throw in Thuram for all, for all shit's given, right? You can throw in Thuram if you wanted to, because Lautaro's out for MVP. So it's like, now when we look at it, and I think Leao's on the next page. He's not even. Pulisic had more goals than him. Yeah, he's not on here. Yeah, Leao, 9 goals. How is that making him best striker? Like either those awards are fan voted. I don't understand that short list. Yep. And then, like, for example, if we want to look at like,
can you go to the goals and assists?
Goals and assists.
Let's see if the numbers change there. 27, 23. Vlahovic 20.
Thuram 20. Pulisic. That makes a better case for Pulisic.
Now we know what they have chosen, but they're still wingers. As
again, Leao is behind Pulisic.
Yeah.
Pulisic is on the right. Leao's on the left.
Why is Thuram not in it? If you have Lautaro for the MVP, why don't you put Thuram into the?
Why is Giroud not being mentioned? Like, if we're looking at Milan players, why would you not put Giroud on there?
Dybala, I can sort of understand it now because of his role, that he's basically a second or a very, very offensive midfielder. So that makes sense, but I have no idea with Leao.
Yeah, but you see, though, like, what I would do is I would take Dybala and I would throw him in here with Koopmeiners, because Dybala and Koopmeiners almost in a sense play the same role. Because I would have done Çalhanoğlu, Koopmeiners, Dybala, and then I would have moved either Pulisic or Giroud in place of Leao, and then I would have put in Marcus Thuram here next to him. Because like if I were to go off it, I would put Giroud for Milan, because Giroud's on 23 goals and assists.
Yep.
Dusan, he's at 20, and then I would throw Marcus Thuram here.
Who's also if we were looking 20 goals and assists, yeah.
And that would have been a more competitive list. Because like, for example, I would move Dybala into the middle, Giroud, Dusan, and Thuram. Those are your 3 straight strikers.
Yep.
So I think that's fair. I don't know. I said this. I remember Dave and I said this back at the beginning of the season that Pulisic was going to do good in Serie A.
Yep.
I remember people were telling us, no, he's injury prone. You guys don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, trust me, when you go from the Prem to Serie A, and especially for a player like Pulisic, who is short, shifty, and very, very quick, it would have been perfect.
Yep. And by the way, I think it's great for him that Serie A is a little bit slower paced, because when he played at Dortmund or at Chelsea, they wanted speed from him, and he's not the fastest winger in the world. He's more so like a slow, methodical player that that passes a lot and doesn't dribble all the time in 1v1 duels, or doesn't make runs towards the touchline all the time. So the Serie A style suits him very well. I agree with that. I wouldn't. The thing I was scared of, or not scared because he's a Milan player and I don't care about him, but that he will get injured and will play less. That was my thing with him. I didn't expect him to play much, honestly, because he had so many injuries.
Yeah, and then like for example, kind of going back to this, if we wanted to even compare it to the expected goals and assists, Leao underperformed. He's at 18.2. He's at 18, so he's right around average. Pulisic beat it by 8, almost 8. Turan beat his by 3.
By
That's
7.4
nuts.
overperformed it.
He really overperformed. Same thing with Dybala. Dybala overperformed by 8.
Lautaro by 8 per.
Giroud by a decent amount as well too. Dusan roughly, I would say 1.5. Dybala performed.
Lautaro by 7.4.
Osimhen just a little bit, but yeah, I don't understand why Leao's on that short list. And then let's look at goalkeeping. Let's look at clean sheets here. Interceptions per 90. I think it's going to be here on the. There we go. Keepers.
Yep. Jan Sommer. Yep.
19 goals conceded. And then this would have made sense. I think this would have made sense if you did Sommer, SMS, and Szczesny as your top 3.
Yep.
That would have been a competitive list. Because, like, why is Karnaseki down there? Karnaseki's not even on this list.
Maybe he's the hipster pick. Atalanta has become the hipster team that everybody loves, because they are a small club from a not as big city, and people root for those teams. Maybe that's the story behind Karnaseki.
Yeah, Karnaseki is 11th.
Yep.
Let's look at we can look at save percentage, right? Let's look at this here as well.
Yep.
Jan Sommer leads it again, 80%. Gregorio is up there with 78.
Yep, pretty
SMS
good.
with 76. So Karnaseki is 5th. There, Szczesny is 7th. So I think the main argument that you and I are making is Sommer should have been in that short list.
So Sommer should have been there. I understand the journal, how we call him. I understand the journal if you put Sommer in it, but I would have taken Karnaseki out, keep Tech in there, and that's your top 3.
So saves per 90, De Gregorio has won that one by 4. And I don't even see the other guys here at all.
Yeah.
Like
Motta is conceding lots of shots, so I understand that. 127 total saves. Have you seen the difference between the and Ochoa? There was like 50 goals or something.
Yeah.
50 shots saved. Crazy.
And then goals.
Okay, I understand the journey 100%.
Yeah, I'm fine with him. I don't understand why Jan Sommer wasn't on that list.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Because I think Jan Sommer should. I don't think Karnaseki should have been there.
Yep.
Like that's the one thing I don't understand is why Karnaseki is there. And then hopefully that translates for us when he comes here. But I think that's more than likely meaning that Szczesny is going to be on his way out with De Gregorio coming in, because I don't expect De Gregorio being second fiddle.
Oh no, especially the problem is Tech doesn't fit with what Motta is trying to do, and with now having bought a goalkeeper that fits that style, that can be very good at the ball and is a very good, like in addition, a great shot stopper, like even better shot stopping stats than Tech. Then for me, it's not a question that Di Giorno should be the number 1 goalkeeper. and Tech is too expensive with his salary as number 2 goalkeeper. And Perrine, I don't know if he wants to stay second goalkeeper, but in my opinion, we would have to sell both because both of them aren't good at the ball.
Yeah. And it's obviously I just can't wait until everything's kind of done and dusted so we can see how it all lines up per se. Who comes in, who isn't, and yada yada yada. Because like for example, I did see this right where DiMarza says Motta doesn't
I
see
want
Chiesa as part of the starting
to
11.
open that same now that we are talking a little bit off Mercato. Yeah, the crazy thing is that a week ago, or not even a week ago, there were reports. Thiago Motta really appreciates Chiesa, and he considers him as essential for his for his team at his future Juventus. Yeah. We don't know shit, man. Again, I hate these reports.
I
Let a
would
man
be
become
shocked.
the coach, and then we will see.
I know, but I mean, like, let's talk about it because I know I wanted to talk a little bit about Chiesa since halftime, but is he a Motta player?
My question is not is he a Motta player? Is he a consistent player that gives you consistency game out? Like we haven't seen it right now, even though he played winger all the time. Like of the past 1.5 months, I give him credit for that because I saw an upwards trajectory in his performances. He was very good, and he showed some consistency, in my opinion. And he was very, very, very good, and he changed my opinion a little bit about him because he looked like a really hard worker there on the pitch. Even
Yeah,
though
I
he
mean,
missed lots of chances, he converted. He converted more than he did before.
for me, I think the one thing that I need to see to get fully on board the Chiesa Express is I need to see an entire year of consistency.
Yeah.
Like, and to touch on, like, for example, what I mentioned when I said about, he plays caveman footy, right? Where it's just like when you look at how he moves as a winger, right? So you have him here. So let's name this our number 7. The issue that I have and the talent that he has, which is extremely frustrating, is Chiesa when he moves is very linear. It's straight lines.
Yep.
This is Chiesa's movement pattern.
Yep.
3 directions: straight to the line, straight diagonally, or cut across to the inside. I've yet to see Chiesa consistently do something like this where he cuts in, then cuts back out, and then cuts in and does that, right? He
Yep.
never really does that. A lot of people think that he does, but in reality, if you look at Chiesa, like for example, the goal he scored today, right, was a
Yep.
diagonal line straight through.
Yep.
He's just barreling straight through. Where it's like, for example, when you look at like a Dybala, so we'll take Paulo out here and we'll bring back his Juve days. And this is where I kind of am understanding what Max wanted to do with Chiesa. But like, for example, Dybala could start with the ball here. Dybala could work his way across there and then move his way back in and essentially move like it's a snake.
Yep.
I call it a snake dribble in a sense.
Yep.
So Paulo could do that. Chiesa, I've yet to see him do that. He is very, very linear. And one of the reasons why, like, for example, when you play what Allegri envisioned with Chiesa, the reason why Allegri believed that Chiesa could be a second striker is because the main thing is Chiesa can play with both feet.
Yep.
Which is very, very crucial if you want to play as a second striker, as a 10. So what Max envisioned tactically with Chiesa is that he envisioned Chiesa to play off this vicinity of Dusan here. So Dusan would win the ball. So the ball goes to Dusan and Dusan would receive it. And within this trajectory or this area here, Dusan would slip the ball off to Chiesa and Chiesa would come in this way and shoot on his left, or Chiesa would come on this way and shoot on his right.
Yep.
Like the idea was to cater to Chiesa because Chiesa's ability was to go on both sides. Chiesa can play on both sides. He has the ability to do that. Not that many players. Like, for example, Dybala was always on this way because he liked to cut in. You would rarely see Dybala lurk around here. But the difference between Chiesa and Dybala is Dybala in this space could beat anyone anywhere. You didn't know where Dybala was going to dribble. Whereas with
Yep.
Chiesa, because here's what happened. Chiesa decided to fix himself onto this spot here, which kind of threw this out of the loop. But the issue that Chiesa had was Chiesa moves either this way, or this way. 3 paths, 3 routes. And as a defender,
Yep.
it's easy to telegraph that if all you do is run in 3 directions.
Yep.
Whereas, like, again, if you have a Paulo or if you have someone that's actually that kind of finesse dribbler or winger, they're able to take the ball into touch, cut in this way, then cut across this way, and then move out this way and do something like that. They're able to
Yep.
variate their dribbles where Chiesa never could, because how many times would we see Chiesa take the ball all the way to the line and then just either dribble out of bounds or force a pass? There'd be a
Yep.
rare instance where you'd see Chiesa go all the way out here and then cut in to try to take someone on one-on-one. He couldn't do that. Because the way that Chiesa is like, for example, like you would see a typical space winger. Dusan would win the ball, and this is how Chiesa would want to play it. Dusan would win the ball, loft the ball into space, and like I said, me
Yep.
see ball in space, me run. Like a caveman, essentially. It's a caveman kind of way of playing,
Yep.
where he just runs and shags the ball into space. If he has the space, he has it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It is
Yep.
what it is, and that was one of the issues that Chiesa had.
The problem is if he always does those runs towards the touchline, and I got them because he's trying to fight the defender 1v1 on the touchline. The defender is held by an additional defender. The touchline in that case is an additional defender.
It's like
And
this. I'll show you.
he always runs in. Yep, show it, please.
So go ahead. Now you have the graphic.
All right. So Kiesa's number 1. He has the ball and
Chiesa's
runs.
Chiesa's
Got you.
One's your fullback, 2 is your center back.
All right, got you. So Chiesa has the ball. Try to dribble the fullback basically. He gets like a half past him, like he has the body turned a little bit and tries to do a cut to the right. So, and then he's so slow that it calls up the second additional defender, basically. And the problem is that he has between the first defender and the touchline the second defender. So he's basically defended by 3 defenders. So when he runs towards the touchline and tries to do the to the box, like there's no space. Number 1, because he doesn't have the explosivity anymore, so he doesn't beat people 1v1. Like when was the last time that we have saw that? And in addition to that, he doesn't have the 1v1 presence also because of explosivity, and he tries to do that all the time while being defended by 2 players and the touchline because they leave him that space to run towards the touchline.
Yeah, and it's just linear movements, right? Because, like, for example, even if you were to go this way, if he's going directly at 2 instead, 1 covers the space here, 3 pinches the space there, and then he's running into a wall of 3 players, and then boom, turnover. Like
All
it
the
normally
time.
happens.
Leads to a counter attack all the time.
So go ahead.
And it's and that's also why he's a little bit not a little bit, why he's way better on the right side. Number 1, I think he's better with his right foot. So if he plays on the right, he can do his just straight runs, whether it's forward, diagonally, or to the side. He can do those runs because the defenders leave you with a little bit more space when they know you want to pass or you want to cross. If he plays on the left side, they know he comes into the box with the intention to score. So they're a little bit more switched on to defend him immediately. That's why he is swarmed by 2 or 3 defenders all the time. And if you have Chiesa on the right side, he can do those runs because he's defended by one guy, and he can cross it in earlier from the edge of the box or do his run and then pass it from there or cross it from there. And his crosses are way more accurate than the shots he tries when 2 or 3 defenders are in the way. Like, they always leave him more space when he plays on the right side, and he's great at using that, and that's why I will play him on the right. I know he is a good winger. I never questioned that. My problem, I described it during the match as well, is that if we play with a three-man front line, you have the problem of losing either a midfielder or a defender. Most of the time, it's a midfielder that you are using, because you have to somehow compensate and play 5 defenders basically, because you can play with only 3 defenders. So that's a problem. And if you have that situation with the team we have, it doesn't work. Right now, we can't play a 4-back line, and we also can't play a 2-pivot midfield. Yet today it worked because it was a game again, like we said, that accounts for nothing. This was a game that you can't throw away. It was a farewell game for Alexandro. It was a farewell away to the fans until the next season starts. So discount everything that you saw in this game. And that's why we had to play the 3-5-2, because that gives us the best possible balance. Yes, it sacrifices a front player, but you have 3 center backs, 2 wing backs, and 3 midfielders. If you play with 1 less midfielder, we are cooked. Imagine today with the midfield of Fagioli and Charlie Alcaraz. If it would be a half-decent team, they would have destroyed us. They would have completely destroyed that midfield if it would be a half-decent team. And that's why we played with a 3-5-2. And again, if you add on top on that we have to play with a 3-5-2 with the squad that we have, yes, Chiesa has to play second striker. You can't have a 3-5-2 and one guy being isolated on the left side. That's why it didn't work, because he never bought into the idea of him being a second striker, and that's the problem, and that's why he didn't score a lot or didn't assist a lot to Dujan or whatever. That was the problem. The problem was that he never tried even to buy into the idea. And then all of a sudden, when we tried yes, of course, I know it will work because he is a winger. But my criticism is that he didn't buy into the idea that we had to play because the rest of the team is not suited to play a 3-man front line. That was my problem, my criticism with him.
And that's fine, and I think this is, and I have the 272 up right now because I feel like it's worth having a conversation and explaining it. But this is going to be make or break, especially for him this season, because this is a very, very winger-friendly system. It made Orsolini look like he has a brand new lease on life at Bologna, right? So it's very, very, it is, because, like, for example, when you play this system, your players in the middle here, your 7 in the middle, do not pass this line. Very rarely do they pass this line. Because when we look at it, and I think we'll do some fantasy here, where allegedly they want, this is going to be Bremer and Calafiori, is what I've been reading, which I don't know if that's going to be possible, but all right, whatever. And then I'll just name this. Oh, that's terrible. Whatever. The question is this going to be Fagioli here? I'm assuming. And then I don't know what we'll fill these up with, because I don't know. Is Locatelli a de facto starter?
I don't know, but we have then the problem again that I know. Would it be Locatelli and Rabiot? I don't know if that would work again, because I'm a little bit tired of that midfield.
I'm convinced that it wouldn't. I'm going to name this Di Lorenzo.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. So some people are hating it, but honestly, I love it. I love the fit.
And then we don't know who's this gonna be.
I don't know, Chiesa or Sule right now, because there aren't rumors right now with any right wingers. It's gotta be one of those.
Let me do this.
Because it would be Yildiz on the left, I believe, and then Chiesa on the right.
We'll switch it over like this. So you've got Cambiaso, Bremer, Calafiori, Fagioli, Di Lorenzo. I think this
and
one.
Di Giorno, the pizza.
Yeah, I'm just gonna name it pizza. Di Gregorio will be in net. So I think the main unknowns are going to be your two Mezzalas.
Yep.
Because is it Locatelli? I mean, maybe we can say it's Loca.
Yep. I wouldn't even mind Rabiot. The problem is they can't play together.
No, I don't think they
because
can.
then you have again two players that aren't. Yeah.
They're the same thing.
That's the problem.
So do I dare?
You can choose one of them basically.
Do I be bold here and I say
Louis? Oh, you chose co-pilots.
Yeah, I'm saying do I? No, I know. It's just me being bold, right? Like, do I say Coop Myers?
Yep. I don't know. You have to with that midfield. You have to get them another one that is focused offensively, and Coop Myers is perfectly for that.
Because, like for example, Dusan goes forward, Coop Myers covers the hole, Locatelli does any kind of interceptions or any kind of pressing in the zone, Fagioli facilitates from the back, Calafiori facilitates next to Fagioli, Bremer covers any missed passes there, Yildiz pushes up, Cambiaso covers the middle, Chiesa pushes up, and I don't care what people say about Di Lorenzo, but I think Di Lorenzo is a stable right back.
Absolutely.
I don't know why people.
And he would be perfect. He would be honestly perfect. Can you imagine the right side with? I hope Chiesa works with him, but Chiesa and Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo can cross. He can cut into the box. He can even finish. Like if he has a good angle, he can finish with his right foot. Like he is really really good. And if you give him an team around him, he's really good.
Yeah, I don't. We'll see. I think we'll see in the Euro. I think that'll be the good indicator. But I don't. Yeah, I don't understand the hate train for Di Lorenzo.
Oh,
maybe because he's just a
I
Napoli
think it's
player?
a case of Napoli. Yeah, man.
That's the only thing I can think of because I don't.
I think it's people of. I think it's again a case of people not being grown-ups.
Because even here, like if we look at FOTMOB, he had a decent season.
Yeah.
7.5 or 7.05. 1 goal, 6 assists.
No, it's decent. It's consistent. Like it's okay in my opinion. Why not? If you get him for cheap, for me, 100%.
You look at his ranking: expected goals 3.41 in shooting. One of the better center back scoring goals as far as passing. He's doing in the higher percentiles. Defending, he's great at winning tackles out wide. That's the one thing that is important for a right back or a left back is duels won, because so many 100%. Times
they have their sights on lock. Nobody gets through.
Interceptions, he's great on interceptions, block shots, fouls committed, recoveries, possession won in the final third. He's only been dribbled past 36 times. I think maybe that's something that I guess people are worried about. But defending, he's 45% roughly, about 50-50 in duels won, 61% in tackles won. No 6 yellow cards, no red. Like he's in a low he's in a low percentile on this. He's in the 3 percentile. I don't know. I don't understand that. Like people are losing their mind over it, and it's just like, well, what's the issue? Because like even though Calafiori is a center back, but like we look at let's look at their let's line up. Because Calafiori is more of a center back, so it'd be a little bit hard to look at his numbers. But yeah, you look at the passing stats. Di Lorenzo's better than Calafiori, like significantly better. So it's like and he's a center back, right? So it's to be a little bit more fair
Yep.
in regards to that, but I don't know. It's just like I don't understand the logic that people kind of look at it and are just like,
I
oh,
just think it's again like people be not being grown ups with something like that.
is
That's
D?
that's the problem, I believe.
I wonder who's Bologna's like starting right back. Let's see. Let's go here to the Napoli game. Okay, so it's
Yep,
this guy,
Stefan. Yeah, Stefan Posch. Yep.
Stefan Push. So let's look at his stats. So it's yeah, Di
He
Lorenzo's
will
got
go
better
to
numbers.
the Euros, by the way. That's Stefan Posch. He's really good.
Yeah, so it's just like I don't know, like he's there, and then you looked at Di Lorenzo's stats. Di Lorenzo's stats are way better
Yep.
as a right back. I don't understand the sentiment that people just don't like him, which is just weird.
Yep. I think he's really good. His stats are good. He's consistent. Like a consistent. What do you want more? And especially for cheap, isn't he an upgrade on Weah? I'm sorry, but he is.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the great thing is you can have Cambiaso finally on the left side, and you can have him focus and actually develop on the left side instead of sometimes on the left, sometimes on the right, sometimes in the midfield. Like then
I
you
think
can get the best out of Cambiaso as well because he has finally his side on lock. Because I don't believe Kostic will be there next season.
yeah, and it's just like I look at it, and it's just one of those things where right now, currently, it's like why we don't need to have sexy right backs. You have a solid
No,
left
we
back
don't.
in Cambiaso.
We
You
need
just need
we
one
need
that's
consistency.
yeah, you just need a consistent right back.
Yep.
So for me, that's why I'm a little bit like, why are we so up? Because like for example, let's look at Inter's right back, right? Inter's right back is Denzel Dumfries, right?
Yep.
So it's just like he's not a hip and he's not. It's just like Yusuf. It's like he's not hip, he's not flashy, it's not anything
Absolutely.
crazy, but
Absolutely.
it gets the job done.
Yep.
Because like for example, you don't need to have a right back that's like you
Trent
can't. There's
Alexander-Arnold.
yeah,
Dude, everybody wants a Trent Alexander-Arnold or players like that, man. Dude,
because like for example,
there are teams out there playing center backs, right backs. They don't give them any offensive output. They park a center back there just to defend the right side, and we are worried about Di Lorenzo, who has the right side completely under lock in a four-man defense, so he can play isolated, and he has a pretty good offensive output as well. Like he's not the greatest in 1v1 duels, but he can cross it from the edge of the box or go towards the touchline if he has some space and pass it into the box. And I think he's really good. He doesn't need to be Trent Alexander-Arnold that can switch into the midfield and facilitate play from the midfield, involving wingers, strikers, and whatever, inverting, and I don't know what. It doesn't need to be that.
yeah, and for me, like you don't need that. Like you don't need the sexy plays. You just
No,
need
you know.
like for example, a Calabria, right? That Milan have. Unfortunately, he's just not healthy.
Yep.
Or is it
Oh,
Cristante?
Calabria's great as well, man. If he didn't have like those health problems, honestly, Calabria is great.
Or
He's
Cristante?
even better than Di Lorenzo, in my opinion. But he's all injured lots of times, and I think he's one of Milan's most expensive players as well.
Because it's just like he's not flashy. It's not anything crazy, but it gets like and
Yeah,
the same thing with Darmian. It's solid. It's solid. You
yeah,
need someone that's just solid,
yeah,
consistent, and solid.
yeah,
And that's why I'm not opposed. Like, for example, back then in like 2016, 2017, when Napoli had El Cid Husai, I wanted him on Juve because he was a solid right back.
yeah.
Like it was more so like he wasn't flashy, he wasn't anything crazy or sexy, but it was a solid right back at the it was like, it's the same thing like Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner wasn't anything
Yep,
crazy,
yep.
but it was solid and secure. And for me, my opinion is I think Di Lorenzo could be like a Lichtsteiner right back.
Absolutely.
And that's one of those things where you can adventure on the left with Cambiaso, but you can have a solid foundation on the right with Lichtsteiner. Or
Yep.
not Lichtsteiner,
Yep.
with Di Lorenzo. Because, like,
Yep.
for example, if we go if this is what we end up playing next year with Motta, if this is how it looks, if I'm having Chiesa be my main guy up top, I would want Di Lorenzo to cover the spaces and to supply and assist Chiesa.
Yep.
If Chiesa is going to play on the right, I would want a Di Lorenzo because, like, for
Yep.
example, here, if you're having Yildiz, you have the opportunity to connect with Cambiaso and to overlap and do that kind of stuff here.
Oh,
You
that
want to
left
have
side will
that.
be filthy. Oh, the left side will be filthy with that duo.
And then, like, for example, here, when you have Di Lorenzo and Chiesa, and I think we'll see
Yep.
this in the Euro. I think they'll experiment with this in the Euro, where Chiesa's doing his caveman runs, essentially. You have Di Lorenzo that's there, which makes it difficult for them because, like, for example, if I'm putting two defenders on Chiesa, I have to figure out how to account for
Yep.
Di Lorenzo because Di
Well,
Lorenzo can
yep.
cross and dribble.
Yep. At least one defender has to think about Di Lorenzo then, which they don't do right now, and Chiesa is isolated against three defenders. Like, if Di Lorenzo's there, he pulls the defender automatically out because he is a threat from outside the box.
Exactly. So then that is dedicating resources from the middle to here, which then opens up your trident of Koopmeyers, Locatelli, and Dusan, or whoever is going to be, whether it's Koopmeyers or Thuram or whoever. Just using Koop for the example here, because this essentially pulls three defenders on the right side. When you're taking three defenders out here, that's less space because Motta's side, or how Motta likes to operate with the 2-7-2, heavy in the middle to overlap and win the middle to facilitate plays through the wings. Because, and this is where you're going to see whether or not Dusan can play with the big boys, is because Dusan's going to be in charge of moving the ball this way. He's going to be in charge of moving the ball this way. Shooting is going to be the last priority for him. It's going to be more so facilitating play more than actually taking shots. So don't be surprised if Dusan's goal tally goes lower next year. It's going to. And that's why I made that argument where I said a Skamaka or a Xerxes will be a better player for this system, unless Dusan is somehow able to evolve and be able to essentially finish with less chances. But it's going to be big because is Dusan a multiplayer? On paper, no. Can he evolve to be a multiplayer? Yes. But don't be surprised if his goals go down and his assists go up. I think he's going to stay. I think he'll be relatively similar in the goals assist column, like the contributions. Though I do think his goals are going to go down. I don't expect them. I expect Chiesa to hopefully hit double digits for the first time in his career. And same thing with whether it's Yildiz, whether it's Sule. I think the biggest question is who's going to be your wingers? Who's going to be your starting wingers?
Yep. Right.
Is Weah going to be there? Is he not going to be there? Is Sule going to be there? Is he not going to be there?
And also the midfielder, because I don't believe it will be Koopmeiners. I think all of that talk is smoke and mirrors. We will never put those 60 million on the table, and if we do, that's not Matthew to agree, because we know there we have the money, seemingly. So yeah, man, I don't believe that we will put like anything between 55 and 60 for Koopmeiners on the table. That is two very good midfielders you can buy instead of him. Or one 40 million guy and 20 million guy or whatever,
it would be a hot take that people might not appreciate, and I'm not too crazy about, but I think it could work
I
here
still
as well.
want it. I still want it. Trigger the 12 million buy.
Because like, could you imagine that essentially in midfield trident of Fajoli,
I would
Dybala,
love
and
that.
Locatelli?
I would love that. It would be perfect, man.
Because, like, for example, you would have Locatelli play deep here, and you would have Dybala essentially play up in this role, and then Fajoli would cover this.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, honestly.
Because so one of the main things with Motta's 2-7-2 is there's a 9 and then there's a 10. One of the midfielders is like a hybrid 10/8. If you could convince Dybala to stay in the center of the field like that, I think Dybala would be a very cheap alternative until you were to get finances to go big.
Dybala's basically the Lewis Ferguson of from Bologna.
Or again, if you could
And by the way, another point that I forgot earlier when we talked about Chiesa, look, Dybala. What everybody forgets, Dybala started as a right winger. Everybody forgets that, and he went towards the midfield because Messi had the right side on lock in the national anthem. If he stays as a right winger, he would have never seen a minute in the national team. That's why he learned the craft of playing in the midfield, and that's how he got great in the midfield. And that's what I wanted from Chiesa this season. That when he doesn't or he can't play left winger because in a 3-5-2 it's just not possible. You have to play centrally or be roaming at least from left to right, but most of the time centrally. I wanted to see that development that Dybala made, and for me, he didn't do that. Now we see him, like I said, we see him on a winger. We know he's great on the wing when you give him the possibility to play on the wing. But for 34 match days or whatever, or I don't know, like I made that number up. I don't know how matches he played. He had to play second, he didn't do, and that's my problem with him.
Well, and the concern is if he's your franchise player, if he's your main guy, he has to be versatile across the entire front line.
Yep.
You can't have a one-trick pony as your best player. That's not good.
Yep.
That sets you up for failure. Because when you're playing against elite teams, they'll know what to do. They'll know how to stop them. They'll know what to do, and that's not good. That's not a good thing at all.
By the way, everybody, the link is in the chat. If you want to join in the conversation, please join in on the stream and voice your opinions as well.
So I'm curious to see what Gentoli does. Right, for me, I'm very curious because we don't know what the amount is as far as coming in finances wise, and then players and other things as well. So there's a bunch of question marks that's
and
going on.
And by the way,
there.
we spent already 18 million.
Yeah,
18 million were out of the window already. So you have to make that money up now somewhere.
Yep. All right. Do you want to touch on a little bit of qualifying for Formula One today? Because I watched it. You watched it.
Yep.
Because we've talked to you for an hour, so we'll talk about Monaco.
All right. Hold up. Get me up my one up so I don't do anything with the lineup for tomorrow. So qualifying results. All right. So Q1 was very, very hectic. Like it's a very short track.
Oh, hold on. Before we go, Yusuf said apparently it's a loan with an obligation for Gregorio, so we might have more money in.
Really? I would be surprised if that's it, because everybody was saying 20 million, 18 plus 2 bonuses. But if it's that, if it's a loan with obligation, it's even better.
Yeah, I think it's better, but we won't find out until July, unfortunately. Until that's when it's actually sent out there. But
then they will communicate it.
So yeah,
F1. I mean, everybody.
Leclerc wins the qualifying rounds, and Piastri and Sainz take pole positions.
Yep.
So you said Q1. I thought Q1 was nuts, right? Q1, everyone was all over the place. You had a couple of like cars that were up there. Were like, why are they up there?
Yep. No, Q1 is always crazy because you have 20 cars that are just like on a short track, on a very narrow track, where you let's say you are Max Verstappen and I don't know, man, Esteban Ocon on a very narrow track where between the walls and everything they don't have great team radio quality, so they don't hear their engineers most of the time, and 20 cars on such a small and short track is very bad for Q1, especially when everybody tries to get a clean lap. You have cars in the way. You have the walls are so close. They are driving with 250 kilometers in very narrow like corners where the walls are so close. Like the greatest lap you can have is where you basically kiss the wall on every single corner. That's the fastest you can do, but of course it's involved with a lot of risk, and that's the thrill of Monaco. Actually, the races are nearly boring. Like every single time, you will never see a great Monaco race because there's no taking. The straight is too short. The straight is a corner as well. Basically,
Yeah, it's literally a loop
yeah,
through a building.
yep,
Essentially, it's like a little
yep.
tunnel.
And I went to Monaco, like not to the fun race, but I went to Monaco a couple of times already, and you can walk. If you walk through the streets, then you see how narrow it actually is, and then you see a 2-meter wide F1 car. It's incredible that I drive there with those cars, but it's incredibly bad for racing. That's the problem. The most thrilling part of the Monaco weekend is the qualifying, where you see the drivers pushing the cars to the limit on such a narrow course.
Well, and it's kind of ironic, right? Because, like, for example, you really the way that I've always seen Monaco as is it's more so it's not one on race day, it's one on qualifying.
It's one in qualifying,
Because
100%.
like
Yep,
like like the
yep,
race is won in qualifying. Like, if you're outside
absolutely.
of, P4, you've got a very hard chance.
Oh,
Because, like, for example,
if you're not starting in the if you start on P1 or 2, you have a chance. And even the second place is very hard at Monaco, because usually you have a lot more straight in front of you from the starting box you are in. Usually you can accelerate a bit more, so you have more time to win or lose at the start. So, but even here the start finish line is so short that you basically can't overtake even from the starting positions. So
yeah.
the race is a procession most of the time, and yeah, Monaco's not an exciting race, but it's still great to watch the cars go through those through those slim corners, and everything. It's great to watch.
Well, I mean, you look at the course, right? Like, for example, from
Yep,
8 to 10, that's technically your straight, and even then, that's just you going around the bend.
yep.
And then that's like a two-lane highway, essentially, that's converted in for this track, but, like
That's the tunnel right there. Like there where the 9 is. From 8 to 9 is basically the entry into the tunnel. That is a straight line, but without DRS, and it's even then it's this straight is basically a corner, the 9-10 complex. And you can't overtake there because in the tunnel it's again so narrow there. You can't overtake a car there. And yeah, here again the track is so slow, very fast and narrow corners. You can't overtake anybody there. Here in corners 17 to 18, some of them are trying most of the time, but the only hope there is that the tires of the car in front of you are so dead that you can like
you can
make a
take them
lunge
outside.
on a car. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and this is where you get DRS, right? From 15 to I think it's 15, 17, and 18, I think is when DRS
The
activates.
DRS gets measured there, and then you can activate the DRS from outside from corner 18.
18. Yeah,
Yeah,
18 to the line.
from 18 you can activate it until basically the first corner.
Yep, and that's where I think maybe once a couple of laps in, Dave, I think that's probably your only safe spot to overtake anyone, if you can even overtake anybody at that
Yep,
point.
but the straight is so short. The problem is you
Yeah.
are losing so much time between the corner 17 and 18, because the cars have dirty air. Dirty air is when a car goes, you have a very nice and lateral airflow. The cars disturb that airflow, and the disturbed airflow hits the car behind you, and they don't get clean air basically, and that slows them down because the aerodynamics of a F1 car are set up to work in clean air, where you have a very a very clean airflow basically, and you lose all that time in slow corners like 17 and 18 that you that you can't make that up on the straight, not even with DRS, and that's a damn problem because the straight is so short. But yeah, it basically has only one overtaking spot, and with that one, you can only overtake when you have fresh, brand new tires, and the tires of the one in front to be dead.
Yeah, and also, like, for example, the Kwai chicane is always a pain in the ass. Like, I remember playing it in the racing games myself, and
All the
obviously I'm not a
time,
pro.
all the time. Yeah,
Like, I'm not
yep,
even, I'm not saying that I'm a pro driver or anything like that, but this, it's
yep,
just like you're gaining speed, and then you have to take a sharp left to
yep,
a sharp right, and then
yep,
it's
yep.
that one, and with how
Yep,
narrow it is, it's just gonna be a pile up. It really is.
yep, absolutely. Yep. But it's a great show, great to watch. So Monaco is still a race you don't want to miss because there's always the possibility of a crash. It's still amazing to watch the drivers drive the cars in such a high speed through those narrow corners. It's still amazing to watch, even if there's not lots of overtaking.
Yeah, and kinda going into the qualifying, so Leclerc kind of I thought he was conservative. Did you see the tunnel, the nasty that reaction in the tunnel
Yep, yep, I
going
see
into
that. That's why I brought up the message. Oh man, do you think we can pull up a clip of that, or
I don't
will
know,
F1
we'd have to look for it.
close our stream though?
No, I don't think they would. We might it just depends, right? Like, if someone can find the link and send it to me, I can try to throw it up there.
There was a two car driving slowly through the tunnel basically, and the tunnel is you are driving basically from
It's
daylight
2
into a
lanes.
dark tunnel,
Yeah.
Yes, it has lights, but it takes a millisecond to adjust to that. And there was a slow car driving inside the tunnel, and a fast car is arriving from the daylight into the tunnel. And honestly, it's incredible how the car that was driving fast into the tunnel, how that car avoided the one in front of him, because he drove into the tunnel and saw the car and immediately jinxed to the left and by millimeters only missed the car. Hold up, let me
That happened with Verstappen, I
and
think,
I
at the
just
end of, Q2.
yes, it happened with first, but it wasn't as dangerous as this one. Hold up.
Yeah.
I should have it right here.
Alright. Are you gonna send it to me, or do you wanna
Alright, so
throw it up yourself?
oh, I have it ready already. Hold up. I've
Oh, okay.
I found the I don't. So
Alright, there we go.
oh, sorry, I took it away again.
Here, I'll
You do
put it
it.
on.
You do it. You do it.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, so there it is. That is the slow car that you see right there. Why doesn't it play?
You might just have to there you go. Yeah, that's nuts.
Have you seen with how he jinxed left? And dude, that was crazy. But
That
that is the reflexes you need in F1. And dude, if that had been a crash, honestly, with those speeds hitting the car like from behind, that could have been deadly. Honestly,
Yeah, and kinda going over
everybody's saying give that F2 driver a seat already, man. He deserves it.
I know, right? So kinda going over some of the results here. So, Leclerc, I thought
Yep,
was, Q1 and Q2, he was kind of slow, right? Like, it was just kind of
yep,
him just biding his
yep,
time, and then, like, you saw him
yep,
really pop off in Q3 where he was just going for it, and
yep,
he set the
yep,
pace time, and then he beat the pace time after, which I thought was awesome.
yep,
Ironically, when
yep.
Canadian Dave is not here, Ferrari knows how to drive for some reason.
And
And then
Juventus wins.
Yeah, and Juventus wins, so we need to keep Dave far away as possible. Piastri got close. I thought Piastri kind of surprised me. I thought Lando would have been the one that
Oh,
got it, but Piastri cooked.
you know, I'm the Oscar Piastri fan here, so I wasn't that surprised because I know he's always really really good in qualifying. He's still like it's his second season. He's still raw with in the race when he has to manage the tires and everything. He has to learn on that. But his one lap pace was always from when he stepped into F1. But yeah, I love that, and I love that nearly all my F1 fantasy team is inside the top 10. So I accumulated great points today in F1 fantasy.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because this is, I think, Ferrari's 200th P1 in Monaco or something like that. It's an outrageous record that they hit there. Carlos, I thought just because they were showing his dad a lot, I thought he was going to do something and potentially get first, but I guess he just didn't. Unfortunately, I think he just kind of poorly managed his tires and just poorly managed his car around that one, where it kind of costed him a couple. And then, like, for example, kind of like what Costello was saying, the Red Bulls were off, like Verstappen hitting that wall at the end, and then Perez was just nowhere to be seen.
Oh, Perez on P18 is incredible, man. Honestly, there's something. It's a mix of a lot of things. I think there's a mix of the car having like not regressed, so to say, but the other teams have caught up with everything. You know, they all of them like poached engineers and everything from Red Bull, from Mercedes, from their dominating years and everything. And nearly every team you see up top is very good positioned right now with the personnel, with infrastructure. Like nearly all of them have new facilities and everything. So it is becoming very close, and the teams with their resources are coming very close to each other. And I think this is a case of the regulations are nearing to an end. The current F1 regulations with the current engines and the current aerodynamics have a season and a half left. And towards the end of a regulation cycle, you always see cars closing up because the teams are throwing everything they produce onto the car and try with upgrades and over again, until at some point there's no time or just a little time to be gained, and that's why the cars converge towards each other all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this and you look at qualifying, right? Look at the times between the top five. They're 0.3 hundredths of a second within each other.
Yep.
So
and if you go going down until P10, I believe they're within 5/10 the first the top 10, I believe.
Yep. Oh, get rid of that.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. I have my numbers on point.
But looking at the starting grid, right? I think this is Ferrari's race to lose.
It should, yeah. Look, the good thing is for them, like Leclerc and Sainz P1 and 3, and Piastri and Norris, though those are the drivers that, in my opinion, can win the race. If Leclerc has a clean start, basically nobody can overtake them. Nobody can overtake him, and the Ferrari is also faster on the straight than the McLaren, so he has basically zero threat from behind. If he loses the start, it's a different question then, because you have a car that is very quick in the corners in front of you with the McLaren. So yeah, you have to see. It depends on who's winning the start. The good thing for them is that Verstappen will be hanging behind the other cars, because he won't be overtaking as much as you see on other tracks as well. He is a machine. Maybe you will see one or two great overtakes by him, but even then, to get in Monaco from 6 to 1 is very, very hard. So
it's going to be pit. It's going to be how you pit, right? I mean, it's going to be the tires that you use, when you use them, how you use them. I think, like for me, it's just like it's more so on, and that's why I didn't say it was on Leclerc. I think it's more so on Ferrari as their strategy.
absolutely, yeah. And it's
When
good
to
for
use
them
the right
to have signs on P3 as well, because if you are in a situation where signs would be where Perez is for example, then you have a problem because you have two McLarens fighting against one Ferrari, and the McLarens can force the Ferrari into a different strategy decision then.
Yeah, and like for example,
Right now it will be a great fight between those two teams.
yeah,
It's a fight between Dave and myself, basically.
you know, really it is. Because like I said, it's just more so up on strategy, and then if somehow Science takes over Piastri, and it's Leclerc and Science, right, P1
Yep.
and 2, that is going to be very difficult for anyone to
Oh,
overtake.
that is great because they can slow one car of them down because they can't overtake her, and the one just does his circuits. That's a typical Monaco strategy. Like if Sainz gets past Piastri, book it, it's done.
Yeah,
Like if
it's
the
done.
Ferrari doesn't blow up, if the Ferrari God forbid the Ferrari doesn't blow up, then it's a done deal for Ferrari because Sainz can slow up the McLarens. Like Leclerc can drive around, and he will finally win his home race.
I know. He wins it in qualifying, but he's never won the actual race itself, which I think is ironic.
I hope he finally breaks the Monaco and wins there. He already broke it because until last season he never finished inside the points. One season he didn't even start the race because he drove the car into pole position but crashed it then in qualifying, and he couldn't start the race because they didn't do reparations or repairs after qualifying, and they thought they can start the car for the race, and then found out in the first lap that the gearbox is broken. So he didn't even start the race. Crazy.
So
it should be still strategically should be beautiful because you have like all the four drivers from both those teams up front. It should be still great.
Oh, it should be fun to watch. I think, like I said, I mean, it's 78 laps, right? And the circuit length itself is going to be 2 miles. So it'll. I mean, what would you start? Would you start with soft? Would you start with hard? Would you start with medium? What tire would you want to start this one off
The
with?
thing is, on tire performance, the tires were pretty close to each other. I think most of them will try to start with the medium and finish on the hard, because the soft was in the free practice 1 and 2 when they tried. The soft was going off very quickly. Its performance, like on a single lap, of course the soft one is the fastest because it gives you the most grip and you can lean most most to your car. And on the medium and hard, you have you are slower on a single lap pace, but you gain more time when the stint is long because you have a longer tire life, basically. I think it will be a medium start onto the hard, or start on softs and then onto the hard tire. And I think it will be a one stop.
So you think it's a 1 pit stop race?
Yeah, Monaco is always the one pit stop. You lose so much time in the pit. You saw the pit, I believe. You are losing so much time in Monaco. You want to minimize the time in the pits. Every time like a team does a two stopper, they're cooked because you lose so much time in the pits. And track position in Monaco, like there's no track where track position is key like in Monaco. So you don't want to come in the pit stops. You don't even want to try crazy overcuts or undercuts because you are giving up positions basically for that one. And yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing that pulls Max back into this is if he just runs his tires more than everyone else and is able to gain position off of that. Because like for some reason those Red Bull tires, either they're on steroids or something, or Max just knows how to push them or squeeze more out of them. Because it's just like there's sometimes where there's races where like everyone does 3 and then Max just does 1.
And once again, in the long runs on mediums and hards, the McLarens were even faster than I think the Red Bulls were second fastest on the long run, and I think Max should be like good as well. But I don't know if it's quick enough to overtake like cars on this track. I don't think it will be enough for Max to win it. I think it will be one of those four in front of him, depending on how they will get off from the starting position.
All right, cool. Obviously, you can catch that tomorrow. I believe it's 9 o'clock my time. Your time, I think it's in the afternoon.
3 p.m. I believe, yeah.
3 p.m. in the afternoon. Obviously, we'll have it. We're gonna do a post-race video tomorrow, where German Dave and myself will do a quick video recapping the race, and we'll post that off. No day after tomorrow, because we practically did the day after today. So there's no reason to do a double video for the same thing, because again, the game meant nothing, and there's not really much to cover. So officially, the season's over. So we had fun with a lot of folks throughout the season. So big shout out to everyone on that. Obviously, now that we're going into the summer, into the off season, I think the Tinfoil Hat Show will be, again, a little bit more Juve focused as far as transfers and news and all that stuff. We'll kind of keep that in that regards. Saturday is going to be a lot more fun, because we'll be covering some more Formula One stuff, as well as some other topics, because it is a call-in show. So we like to talk with you guys about everything in general. So that's going to be the transition there. Dave and I will be doing some smaller videos, and Canadian Dave is currently away. He will be back, I believe, June 15th. So we'll be doing some small Formula One post-race videos where we review the race and talk about that. And the main project for us right now will be to cover the Euros. We might have myself covering the Albanian games. German Dave will cover, obviously. Maybe we'll do some Germany stuff. And then because, Italians, we should probably cover Italy, because we cover Juve. So we'll cover that.
And if there are big games, of course, we will talk about big games as well.
Well,
that haven't got Albania, Germany, or Italy involved. If there's a great France game or whatever, France against Netherlands, or I don't know what, we will cover a lot of Euros.
Yep. And also a big shout out to Misak for coming in this morning with the watch along. And expect to see, and I'll say this, expect to see him more, guys. Misak will join us more once we start getting some things rolling here, because him and German Dave have a better time slot. So you might be seeing more of a Misak and German Dave tag team on some stuff as well. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be moving on and pivoting to more other sports as well. Obviously, just like German Dave said earlier, we will still continue to cover Juve. We'll try to do our best to be in depth with Juve, but we'll also try to cover other things as well, because we're trying to broaden the horizons, expand stuff I'm doing here. Obviously, guys, thanks for tuning in to this week's Saturday night viewer call-in show. Obviously, like and subscribe. If you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord. And on that note, the next time we see you guys live is Wednesday, but you will see us post Formula One tomorrow. So we'll catch you then, guys.